We welcome you to El Paso, Texas. Tonight, a rematch of last year's Conference USA Championship game when Western Kentucky's MVP Don McHenry led the Hilltoppers to a 7-point win over UTEP and their star Otis Frazier III. Tonight, they meet again with implications on this year's championship bracket, which begins March 11th on CBS Sports Network. The sun has set in the Sun City of El Paso, Texas. You're watching March to March, presented by Principal. Big Conference USA matchup tonight here at the historic Don Haskins Center as the UTEP Miners play host to the defending CUSA champions, the Hilltoppers of Western Kentucky. As you look at the standings, UTEP currently occupying that all-important 6th seed in the CUSA standings. That means they'll have a bye into the quarterfinals. Western Kentucky is just a game back. As we welcome you courtside here at the Haskins Center, I'm Alex Savario. We got Steve Wolf joining us here off of the beaches of Florida. And Steve, this is as deep as Conference USA has been in years. Joe Golding says anybody can win the league this year.
Well, and I think tonight it starts March Madness for both these teams. They want the 6th seed in the tournament, so they don't have to play the quarterfinal match.
Let's start with Joe Golding's team. They were in the Conference USA Championship game last year, kind of struggling as of late, losing 3 in a row. Otis Frazier coming off a career night. They need another big one from him.
Love watching him play. He's a Swiss Army knife. He can do it all, and he plays better when he gets in the paint and goes downhill. He sets the guys up, he gets some open shots, but he also can knock down the 3. On the other end of the court, you got a guy who's filling in for, there's 3 of the top 4 scorers out for Western Kentucky. He came in last week, 27 points and lit him up. He needs to continue doing this. Last second shot, scores a win.
Braxton Bayless, known for coming up with big moments and big shots. He's done it a bunch in his college basketball career. Came up with a big one to get Western Kentucky off the schneid against Louisiana Tech. But can they continue it on the road as they take on the Miners? They've dominated the Miners since joining Conference USA. Can it continue? UTEP, Western Kentucky, next. El Paso at the historic Don Haskins Center, getting ready for a huge Conference USA showdown. 6th seed on the line. Remember, top 6 teams go into the CUSA quarterfinals. Take a look at Hank Plona in his first season with Western Kentucky. Was an assistant on Steve Lutz's staff last year. Of course, he's now over at Oklahoma State. Was dynamite junior college head coach before coming over to Western Kentucky. We'll get that as we move along. As we look at the starting lineups here, Western Kentucky, you talked about this with Coach, has had a bunch of different starting lineups, actually having the same one in a row here these last couple of games. McHenry and Bayless, of course, the stars of that team. On the other side, Camper still nursing an ankle injury. We'll see how he plays on that moving forward as Joe Golding, now in his 4th season as the UTEP head coach, got him into the Conference USA Championship game a year ago out of the 5th seed. And this is kind of looking a lot like last season, kind of struggling just before the end of the year, but maybe some opportunities to get hot right before the tournament.
Well, both of these teams struggling coming in, limping a little bit. Injuries for Western Kentucky, inconsistent offense for UTEP. So this game is important so that they don't have to play that quarterfinal matchup in the Conference USA tournament.
And I'm sure we're going to talk about this throughout the game here, Steve. When we look at this Conference USA, both coaches made sure to tell us, look, anyone can beat us in this league, and that's a recipe for a maddening tournament in Huntsville when you come to Conference USA. And they said really anybody 1 through 9, even 1 through 10, could probably win the Conference USA Championship. Tip controlled by the Miners. We are underway, attacking the basket over to the right, wearing the white uniforms. Miners, they make their name on defense, one of the top teams in the country at stealing the basketball. Working inside, nice play. Looking for the shot there was Frazier. Came up empty on the layup, and it goes out of play. Go to Western Kentucky for the 5th possession.
It's a nice half-court set to start the game. Little backdoor play, trying to get the ball in the paint.
This is Braxton Bayless, had that game winner against Louisiana Tech. Getting it here to Tyrone Marshall. Working it inside. Joe Golding said they beat us in the paint quite a bit. Previous matchup earlier in the year. Bounce pass into the paint. 5 of the shot clock. Gonna have to hurry. Bayless gonna have to throw one up there. Just a prayer off the front of the rim, off the mark. Frazier with the rebound. Come the Miners in transition.
like to see Frazier get straight to the hoop early. That's when he plays the best. Don't settle for the outside jump shot.
Still no score here as we're getting close to seconds gone by. Now working inside. A miss here for Western Kentucky.
Alex, I really like the ball movement. They just got to finish at the rim.
Here's Terrell, sophomore leader of this Miners team, taking out to Frazier, launching the three. Comes up empty on that shot, but an offensive rebound.
Coach Golding told us today that they have to get the ball inside like that. As Kalu takes it strong up there to the basket, they're starting off games and getting, and really happy about that three-point shot. They're settling. They have to take good shots and get in the paint.
Coach also wants them to get off to a much quicker start so they can find themselves avoiding having to rally back in the second half. So here's Bayless. Work it onto the block. Off-balance shot. Draws some contact. Puts it in. Count the basket and the foul. And the fans here at the Haskins Center not happy with that.
Well, Coach Polona talked today about this is a kid who's only averaging a little bit under 8 points a game. And I asked, why is it? How can he come out and have 27 points and be so efficient? 4 for 5 from three-point land and 11 for 19 from the field and have the game winner. And he said he was just trying to fit in. He's a transfer, trying to fit in. And now he's starting to play a little bit more free. He's taking his own shots, and you saw it right there. Very confident.
Polona, of course, knows him really well when he coached him in junior college. Played a year at Niagara, then came over to Western Kentucky this season. Bayless hits from the free throw line, and the Toppers have their first lead. We'll have more on Polona in a bit as UTEP trailing by 1 here.
Both of these teams are very good in the half-court defense. It's going to be a struggle to score in the paint, but you have to try to get in there.
Ahmad Minam throws it up off the back of the rim, off the mark.
Not a good shot. I'd let you shoot that, but that's not a good shot, especially when you're playing for something. This is a big game. You got to try to get that paint point.
Comes the double, and then they skip it over to Bayless, who takes it inside, attacking. Man, he must have a lot of confidence after that career night and that game winner against La Tech.
Well, and they still have Landers is able to play tonight. He's going to come off the bench. That gives them more depth. So it was actually unfortunate Landers got hurt, but it's fortunate for Bayless to get in there and be able to lead this team.
Bayless, a dynamite three-point shooter, shooting it over 40%. 5-2 lead here for the Toppers. On the drive, here's Camper putting it up off the mark that time. Both teams struggling a little bit with the shot. Here McHenry loses a defender with the ball fake. Throws up a shot, comes up empty. Another offensive rebound here for Western Kentucky. McHenry gets it back and rattles one in from about 17.
Well, credit Jackson for that. Great offensive rebound. Got it back out. Got McHenry the ball. And right now, UTEP is doing what they've done the last 3 games. Struggled offensively, shooting those long shots instead of getting into the paint, and they're down.
Four minutes gone by. Terrell drawing the fouls. He attacks the basket. So UTEP going to have a couple of free throws when we return. Toppers out to a 7-2 lead on the road here in El Paso.
College basketball on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Principal. Let's build a retirement and benefits plan that works for your team. By Werner, the official ladder of NCAA March Madness. Reach new heights. And by Subaru. Love. It's what makes Subaru, Subaru.
Well, you got to look at some of the all-time steals leader. Otis Frazier moving up the charts here in terms of steals. Tim Hardaway leads the way. Is our keys to the game here, Steve?
Well, you look at the efficient half court. So far, it's been good for Western Kentucky. They're getting the ball inside. Only one outside three. They have to limit the fouls because they are shorthanded. You have Landers coming back off the bench. And as far as UTEP, keep them out of the paint. Got to make sure they push Western Kentucky out along the perimeter. and they have to make sure they take care of the basketball.
Jalen Jackson, the grad student out of San Antonio, a transfer from A&M Corpus Christi, picked up the foul that sent Terrell to the free throw line. Terrell, a leader on this team despite being only a sophomore. Numbers are up from non-conference play. Hits both free throws, and it's a 7-4 game. In defense, the calling card for UTEP. They like to steal the basketball, get in the passing lanes. What makes them so difficult defensively?
Well, I think that they play in their lanes. They have great help defense. And Kalu is probably the best big man as far as guarding the ball screen. He does a great job in picking situation.
Here's Marshall working inside with 6 on the shot clock. Throws one up, a prayer off of the window and in. And it's a 5-point lead now for Western.
UTEP has to get the ball inside. They keep shooting the 3-ball and outside jump shots. They're 1 for 6 from behind the 3-point line, and they are shooting 15% from the field. You have to either get to the free throw line or get in the paint to get involved in this game.
Foul call here as Lander drives to the bucket.
That's a beautiful drive here, using his body. Just good concentration. And you know what? A lot of these guys that just try to throw it up there, you can see when you're looking at the rim, Marshall was able to find the backboard and use that as a crutch.
Landers first from the free throw line. He's a 2% free throw shooter entering today.
We talked to him today, and he was saying his back feels good. He's stretching, he's cupping, he's also getting the stem unit on it. Ice every night, but it's tough when you hurt your back.
That sounds like your daily ration.
Yeah. I think his hurts a little bit more than mine, though.
Here's Frazier. And the corner misses that shot. Ball batted around. Shot's just not falling for UTEP right now.
They're not getting to the rim. They have got to go downhill, get to the rim, and they don't want to wait too late.
Oh, what a block. No, they call the goaltend. Called the goaltend on that shot. The official came down the floor and said they might have to take a look at that.
I wasn't sure about that. Must have hit the rim. Did he? No, hit the backboard.
Like it hit the backboard first.
It was not even high enough.
That was very close.
Yeah.
So
that makes sense.
Frazier heading to the bench here as the Toppers have built an 8-point lead. Miners have missed their last 4 shots. Taylor Hebb is in the game now for UTEP. Spin move in the lane. Get it to go. Count the basket on the foul for Derek Hamilton, the senior from Baton Rouge.
Now, it's amazing what happens when you get the ball close to the basket. When you're struggling, you try to play the percentages. The best percentage shot is a layup. And the second is probably a free throw. This is a really good pass inside by Barnes. And Hamilton finishing with the left hand.
Hamilton on the season has taken 35 from the free throw line. He's a 60% free throw shooter. And comes up empty on that one. There's a takeaway. The steals are the calling card for UTEP. Come up with one there in the backcourt.
I'd go back inside to Hamilton. If he doesn't have it, he can throw it back out. You can always get the outside shot.
Really clogging up the lane here. They're going to on those drives.
They're going to call foul there. That's good ball movement, good work inside. Keita getting that foul. He had his arm wrapped around him. So that's 2 times. Hamilton's been in the game for, a minute. He's got a bucket, and he's also got a foul on Keita.
Keita, call for the personal. Here's Barnes taking the 3. That's off the mark.
Makes no sense. Get the ball inside. That's the only place you're scoring. I'd go the whole shot clock and try to get the ball in the paint.
That's 4 straight makes for Western Kentucky on that one from downtown. Tyrone Marshall shoots it at 33% out there.
Marshall had a great game in the tournament last year. 23 points against Marquette. Really his coming out party. He's continued doing it this year.
Western Kentucky winning the CUSA championship for the first time. First time in the tournament since 2013 as they work it inside to Hamilton again. He puts it in. That might be the answer right now for UTEP, just to get some points and make sure this one doesn't get out of hand.
He had 3 guys on him too, Alex. They were draped all over him. He still put it in.
Here's Lander, working it in on Heb with 10 on the shot clock. Lander makes a move inside, and we're going to whistle, and another goaltend. Going back to UTEP here. During the month of February, CBS Sports celebrates Black history, recognizing its influence on our culture and society.
When you're playing Landers, you got to remember that he's left-handed. So's McHenry, and so's Frazier for UTEP. These guys have an advantage because everybody's playing that right hand.
Lander getting in the passing lanes there as they were trying to get it up to Terrell. Lander takes it to the rim, off the window, and he scores. And Christian Lander.
Well, they really missed him when he was out. Realize that when he was out, 3 of the top 4 scores for the Hilltoppers were out with injuries.
Heb misses from downtown. Trying to get the offensive rebound. Hamilton was busy there, but it ends up in the hands of Marshall. Back come the Toppers. Henry. Another player that played for Coach Plona in junior college before coming over to Western Kentucky. And a miss in the corner. McHenry. Jackson.
Right now, it just seems like the Hilltoppers have control of this game. They have the momentum. They're getting the 50-50 balls. They're
3 on the shot clock. Got to get rid of it. Puts it up off the rim.
The Miners have got to get something going here. And with Frazier on the bench, who's going to pick it up?
Miss. And we're going to whistle. Western Kentucky out to a 19-8 lead. They're getting in the passing lanes. Christian Lander making some plays, getting to the rim. You're watching March to March, presented by Principal. Conference USA champions for the very first time. They took on this UTEP Miners squad in the championship game. They defeated UTEP 78-71 on the heels of Don McHenry's 25 points. They earned the Hilltoppers their first NCAA tournament berth since 2013. UTEP get into the title game out of the 5 seed, but Western Kentucky moving on to the NCAA tournament with that 7-point victory to win the Conference USA championship. As we take a look at the bracket, we have a victory tonight by Liberty, so they are in sole possession of first place in the quarterfinals as we speak. That's the way the bracket sets up if the season ended at this very moment. Of course, things can change, especially after this one, but UTEP now in that number 5 seed, along with Jacksonville State in the 2 seed, Middle Tennessee, Kennesaw, and New Mexico State there. But Western Kentucky can make their way right into this top 6, which is so crucial because you want to play as few games as possible, don't you, Steve?
And the referees just came over. The 2 goaltendings, the first one they counted and said it was a goaltending. The one at 12:50 mark, they said it was not goaltending, so there were no points on it, so they took 2 points off the Toppers' scoreboard. So now
that'll make Joe Golding happy.
Yeah, it's only a 7-point game.
It's Devin Barnes at the free throw line. Played for Billy Gillespie at Tarleton State. They played in the CIT semifinals team. Barnes, part of a military family. Actually watched his first ever game live here at the Haskins Center when he was in elementary school. Eventually moved on, played his high school ball in Georgia.
Yeah, you see the full court pressure by the Miners.
You see, this Miners team's always going to change up their defenses here, Steve.
Well, it's going to be interesting. Let's keep an eye on Frazier. Number 23, he's 0 for 3 from the field, 0 for 2 from behind the arc. I know they want him to get to the basket. Let's see if he starts playing some offense going downhill.
UTEP is just 3 of 12 from the field. 7 on the shot clock. Another floater off the window and in. Man, they love the glass here. Braxton Bayless, another one off of the window.
He's just playing so well, playing with so much confidence.
Bayless,
but he's getting to the rim too, Alex.
Now with 7 points. It's an 8-point advantage here for Western Kentucky. Camper. Got a bad pass, but they get it to KJ Thomas. Frazier working inside. Thought he had some room in a mismatch, but he kick it out. Horton launches the 3. Shot clock kept going, but it should have reset after the miss. Nevertheless, it goes out of play. It'll be Western Kentucky ball.
Western Kentucky is playing outstanding defense in the half court. There is nothing getting by them in the middle of the court. Everything is perimeter right now for UTEP.
Nice pass inside. Akeda goes up and draws the foul. It's going to be on Thomas.
How about Braxton Bayless? I mean, he's doing it all both ends of the court. He's scoring, and he's also on the offensive end of the court. He is creating. You'll see right here, he goes to the baseline, always got his head up. The double team comes over, a beautiful pass inside. Should have been 2.
Akeda connects on the first. Doesn't get to the line often. I think you're senior from Mali. Just his 15th free throw attempt on the season. Puts another one up and in as McHenry will check back in. And Lander will get a breather.
It's so important for Western Kentucky to stay out of foul trouble, especially Kada. Kada's doing a good job defensively without fouling. They're so short-handed, they cannot go to that bench for the big guys.
Toppers have built this lead up to 10. Pass. Shot up, I should say. And a miss there from Kada. Jackson. Trying to lose Thomas. Back to Kada up top. Here comes the double briefly. Jackson will get it to Bayless. Pretty good defensive possession here for UTEP as they get the pass inside to Kada, and we get a whistle away from the basketball.
It's a beautiful pass inside. Kalu with the foul.
And we get a whistle on another foul, this one on Western Kentucky. And Dorsey is claiming it.
Everybody wants to blame the guy setting the pick, but sometimes when you're the guard, you got to rub your man off. Dorsey that time, the offensive guy didn't rub off, so Dorsey hunted to find this player to pick. Can't do it that way.
10-point lead here for Western Kentucky. Screen, miss. Foul underneath the basket. It's going to be against UTEP.
UTEP is shooting 20% from the field.
Leroy Odiaki is coming in now for Kada.
0 for 7 for three-point land, and when you start shooting the outside jump shot, sometimes you lose that confidence. I think they got to start getting to the free throw line or something to see that ball go through the net.
UTEP is just 3 of 15 from the field. Throwing it up, off the mark, but a foul is called. Down on the deck is Bayless. He's a bit shaken up. Let's see what happened here for Bayless. Back up.
It's a good inside hand change crossover, and you'll see Kalu inadvertently came over to help out.
Little shoulder check there.
Yeah. Kalu's a big fella.
Kalu actually a former wrestler. Actually didn't start playing basketball until he was in high school. And wrestled before that. Bayless puts it in. Speaking of shoulder checks, catch a college hockey showdown coming up as Minnesota Duluth hosts Miami. That's tomorrow. The puck drops at 8 Eastern right here on CBS Sports Network.
One shot, man, one.
Bayless puts it in. Really just a 60% free throw shooter, but shooting well so far tonight, 3 for 3. And the Toppers push the lead here to 23-11. No points in the last 2.5 minutes for UTEP.
Elijah Jones in the game. down on the low block, see if they can give him any production.
6'8" sophomore from New Jersey. Get it to Barnes up high. Barnes, nice dump pass down into the post to the cutter. Jones drawing some contact there.
You know, when you're sitting on the bench and you're hearing the coach talk about getting the ball inside, first play in the game, that's what he does. Cut to the basket, they're looking for him. But you got to start the game off that way. Right now, they're almost, midway through the first half. They're not getting enough touches in the low block. Watching that ball go through the net.
Jones misses on the free throws. Only attempted 13 of those on the season. Both these teams kind of going a little bit deeper than we probably expected them to on the bench.
Well, you see, with Western Kentucky, they've been able to put Lander in there, and he's usually a starter. That gives him so much energy coming off the bench with the guy who's been playing for so long.
Here's Lander. Working to the baseline. Double team comes. Able to pass out of it. Get it over to the corner. Marshall launches another three. Misses this time. And Terrell kind of got caught up near the baseline. Had to save it. Tried to bounce it off of Lander. But ended up nutmegging him and getting it to Bynum. Here's Terrell. Working inside. Shot taken. Off the mark. Under 8 to play, first half. Edelin working inside, off-balance shot. Oh, wow, what a shot there. Jack Edelin, the sophomore from Louisville, Kentucky, with an absolute circus shot. The Globetrotters were in town here yesterday, Steve. That one would make Curly Neal proud.
And it's important. He's coming off the bench and giving a production right off the bat.
Here's Terrell. Working inside, kicks it back out to Frazier, to the baseline. 7 on the shot clock. Jones fires one up. Can't finish. That one close. That was in the paint.
It was a great pass by Frazier, too. Got to be able to put those down.
Henry with a floater in the lane. Off the mark. Underneath with the slam. Odiaki with the offensive rebound. Boarded a bucket with the slam. And a timeout taken here by Joe Golding and UTEP. Big time dunk here for Western Kentucky after the miss, pushing the lead up to 16. You're watching March to March, presented by Principal. It's time to reach new heights, brought to you by Werner Ladder.
I'll tell you what, Marshall's been playing very, very well. He's not only just out shooting the outside jump shot, he's getting good defensive rebounds. He's driving to the basket. He's definitely climbing the ladder. And right now, with 7 minutes to go, Alex, the Miners got to figure something out. I mean, they are getting dominated on the points in the paint, 18-6.
Well, the Miners need to find some offense. It was just 11 points. We're under 7 minutes to go in the half.
You realize there's only been 2 turnovers. A foul right there. Good defense initially. But then Liai pushing with his body. But they're trying to get the ball inside. The problem is the game plan from the beginning was to get the ball inside. And the first 4 or 5 shots were from the outside. Instead of trying to play the game plan, now they're fighting to get back in it. They got to cut this thing to 10 before the half.
Yeah, I think we saw Frazier take a kind of an ill-advised shot. We saw Barnes and Bynum both take kind of ill-advised shots.
And the Hilltoppers are playing great defense. It's not like they're letting them get in the paint. I mean, you got to work to get the ball, and good ball movement gets you open shots.
Henry works it inside, a finger roll off the glass, and they're making some tough shots, Western Kentucky.
But nobody's rotating over on the defensive end. You have to rotate over and help out, especially when a team is playing and they've got the momentum.
Terrell floats one up, gets that one to go. They need something like that. He's become the leader of this team. He's the reigning Conference USA Freshman of the Year, and they really like his newfound aggressiveness offensively.
Well, they need some aggressiveness right now because, I mean, they got Frazier on the bench. I mean, that's a statement. That means if you're not going to play, you're not going to get the ball in the paint, drive, we got problems. I'm sitting there and find somebody who can do it. As you see a beautiful drive to the basket, and everything the Toppers throw up is going in right now.
Don McHenry is the MVP of the Conference USA Championship with an amazing shot on the baseline. Barnes. And a lot of physicality there as McHenry creating some physicality there for Western Kentucky. It's called for the foul.
We played almost a full half. It's 5 minutes and 45 seconds left in this half. And there's been a total of 2 turnovers in this game. Western Kentucky has 2. UTEP has 0. You know, to me, that means you got to take chances. Make some hay.
Barnes to the free throw line, misses, gets his own rebound, the second effort off the mark. Ball coming over near the sideline. Trey Horton able to save it. Keep it as a minor possession. Down into Frazier, works away inside. Didn't have a lot of room to work with on that baseline, missed the shot. Here comes Western Kentucky in transition. McHenry back over left side, Lander. Tosses it up, Marshall. Air ball.
He was wide open. It looks like he pushed it.
Had to come back in.
McHenry just looked over the bench and said, "Get me out of here." He is exhausted. Doing it on the offensive end, but more importantly, doing it on the defensive end. You watch the way that the Hilltoppers are playing defense. They're all converging. Right now, when you're not shooting well, let them shoot. Now they're putting everybody in the paint. Everybody's helping out with the hands worth of help.
Got 5:19 to go here until halftime. The Miners at the moment 4 of 22 from the field. That's just over 18%.
Yeah, in their last game against Jacksonville State, I mean, they had 31 points with about 15 minutes to play in the game. I mean, they are really, last 3 games they've struggled, and it's because they're not shooting the ball from behind the arc at all.
This is a much more improved team shooting the basketball from downtown than they were last year. We were talking about that earlier, how bad they were shooting the 3. They've really improved that in the offseason, bringing in some shooters. Barnes, one of those type players, but has not been able to make good shots recently. And after the miss, another tie up here.
Well, I think when you're down this much in the first half, you start hunting the 3 now. Now you feel like you have to. Really, all you need is to continue trying to run your offense and figure out a way to get the ball into the post, whether it's a dribble drive or it's a pass.
Well, you got to find a way to stop them, too. They're shooting 57% from the field. Bayless inside. That's too far inside for Braxton Bayless to be for a team that relies on their defense.
He's a little guy. They're a little team. But you know what? Defense promotes offense. And so that's why the Hilltoppers are playing so well offensively, because they're playing great defense.
Terrell over to Barnes. Pulls up, side of the circle. Misses that shot. Nothing falling right now for UTEP. Get it over to Head. Lines up in the corner. Long 3. Misses. Shots just are not falling right now for the Miners.
0 for 10 from the 3-point line, Alex.
They keep digging. Not finding any gold. And another shot. Edelin from downtown. 19-2 run now for Western Kentucky. In the corner, Head out to Barnes, launches a 3. Is that going to get him off the schneid? No. Bayless brings it across here for Western. Edelin back to Bayless. Marshall lines up on the block. That's a mismatch there with Heb on him. Swing the ball around. Edelin gets free. Dumps it off to Marshall. Marshall tosses it up with one hand. Got it to go. Rattles it in. Everything falling right now for Western Kentucky.
Alex, everybody touched the ball. It rotated both sides of the court. Then you got an easy 5-foot shot by Marshall.
Pass to Heb as he drives it in, draws some contact. And he's got free throws when we return. 3:08 to go first half. UTEP wants this thing to stop. It's looking like a football score here in this first half. 38-13, Western Kentucky dominating right now over UTEP. Coming up On AT&T at the half, Brent Stover, Wally Zerbiak, Ice Young, John Rothstein. They're all standing by in our New York studios. They'll get you up to speed on all the night's college basketball action. That's all coming up on AT&T at the half.
They need that guy to drive his truck through this Hilltoppers. You see the ball movement. Marshall throws it, skips it one side. Watch this. Another. Both sides of the court reversed. Good ball movement. The whole play, everybody touched the ball. And when you're playing like that, you're going to score points. The difference is UTEP is sluggish, and the ball movement's not there. There's nobody having any dribble drive. Nobody's trying to get to the free throw line. Like we said before, they had no turnovers. So take a chance because you're missing shots. That's a turnover the way they're playing.
Baylor Hebb at the free throw line, drawing the foul just before the break. That ends a 9-0 run and a 21-2 run for Western Kentucky. But the Miners need to find some offense. It's not coming to the free throw line. They are 4 of 26 from the field. It's 15%.
I like well, they haven't been able to put their press on either because they're not scoring. Now they're able to put their press on, and that can speed the game up a little bit, which would help them.
You have one takeaway with the pressure in the backcourt. But you're right. You're not making any buckets. They can't set that up.
It's so important this time of the game not to try to get it all back at once. You need to just slowly but surely dig back in, and it's going to start on the defensive end.
Braxton Bayless has it knocked out of his hands out of play. It'll stay with the Hilltoppers with 13 on the shot clock. Alex Savario, Steve Wolf, our entire CBS crew. That one poked out, and it goes into the backcourt. And no one's going to touch it here. It's going to stay with Western Kentucky, but it's going to go out of bounds all the way on the other end of the floor.
Did you see Dorsey getting on the floor for Western Kentucky? You got to get on the floor. That time, Dorsey was jumping on the floor. Camper was watching it. He was trying to pick it up with his hands. You got to get on the floor.
And to push the pace here from the backcourt here with 2 on the shot clock. They'll throw it up off the mark there. And the rebound going into the hands of the Miners. Here comes Terrell. Frazier launching a quick 3. That's short. Another miss. That's the 12th miss. No makes yet for UTEP from downtown. With a kick out. Up to Bayless for 3. That one well short. That one just grazed the front of the rim.
These are opportunities. You've got to take advantage of them.
Camper, who has not been the same since injuring his ankle a few games ago, misses inside. And you can see just not a lot of elevation on that shot.
Well, you said it. Camper, in the first 18 games, went to the free throw line 49 times. In the last 7 games that he's played, he's only gone 6. He's not very aggressive.
Get it ahead to Hebb. Nice dish off. Frazier can't miss a bunny. Frazier coming up empty on a shot from point-blank range. And it's just been that type of night for the Miners. Coming up Sunday morning at 7:30 Eastern, head across the Atlantic for some world-class pitch play. It's a Scottish Professional Football League matchup as Hibernian takes on Heart of Midlothian in the Edinburgh Derby. It's right here on CBS Sports Network.
Alex, you can see the facial expressions on each one of these UTEP players dropping their head. They got to get their head back up and get ready to play.
UTEP going to talk it over. We'll step aside for 30 here in El Paso. Back at El Paso, here's some of the other notable headlines in Conference USA. Ninth in Ken Palm. Again, so deep this conference this year. Liberty, of course, already picking up a win, leading the conference, a half game ahead. So, it's been a wild year in Conference USA. Steve Wolf.
How about Rude? Kennesaw State, 10 Freshman of the Week honors. I mean, Cooper Flagg broke that record at the ACC with 11. And he's a first-round pick. I mean, it's hard to do that year in and year out, especially a league like this has so much parity.
Minute 40 to go, first half. Western Kentucky, everything's been working for the Miners. Just about nothing has been working. 3-point attempt, finally. On the 13th attempt. Shot taken from downtown falls for the Miners.
Let's see if they can get this lead down, maybe to 15.
Lander trying to respond with one of his own. An offensive rebound, fresh 20 here for the Hilltoppers. And we're going to get an offensive foul here called against Jalen Dorsey.
And that's the leader of this team. I mean, Terrell's got to continue playing, and defense will get you back in the game, but you also have to have a couple jumpers. Look at the good, quick movement to the baseline. He's not giving up. He's the vocal leader, not the leading scorer.
No.
But he's playing with his head up, and he's playing strong.
And talking to Otis Frazier, talking about his leadership, he's like, there's a lot of leaders on this team, but he's the vocal guy. He's the one that you're noticing, the rah-rah, the aligning the defense, talking on defense, etc.
Once again, Frazier's out of the lineup. You've got to play with the guys that are going to give you that pump up and quit looking at the score and to start playing using the game plan.
Terrell drives it in, tosses it up, gets it to go.
Beautiful drive in the paint, head up.
They need more of that. They need more of that. More Derek Hamilton, perhaps, as well.
Yeah. Hey, you got to sit there as a team and say, we're not going to shoot the three, even if we're wide open. You got to get used to getting inside so they have to guard you and foul you. And that'll open up the outside for wide open shots.
It's an 11-second differential between the shot and the game clock. Bayless, round the screen, finds some room, knifes his way through, off-balance shot, drawing contact again. I'll be honest, Steve, I thought the official kind of bailed him out there. That was kind of off balance.
Well, watch it. He was losing the ball out of his hands.
Bit out of control.
Good. Now they grabbed his arm.
Yeah. That was Horton. Got his hand in there. They gave the foul to Hebb, however. So Bayless already with 11 points in this game. Going to the stripe here and making noise on the opposite end of the floor. Shooting into the tunnel this time.
You look at a guy like Bayless. He doesn't even average 8 points a game, even with that 27-point game last week. His confidence is so high. It just tells you how important the confidence and momentum is in basketball.
Bayless 1 of 2 at the foul line. Shot clock is off. UTEP will play for the final one. 5 seconds. Terrell inside. Off the window. Score the basket. Counted and the foul.
Beautiful drive to the basket. And once again, it's your leader that's saying, hey, I'm not going down without a fight. Gotta love that tenacity. Beautiful drive here. He gets Bayless on the wheels, on the skates. And then he goes up and uses his body and fades away a little bit. Nice move.
So Terrell looking to complete the three-point play. 3 and 7/10 seconds remaining in the half. Got a little bit of energy back in the building after that big and one situation. Some pressure here. They're just going to have to toss one up, let it fly at the horn. That's going to be way off the mark. But not a lot has been off the mark for Western Kentucky here this evening here at the Haskins Center. UTEP making 3 of their last 3 from the field after an awful start, shooting it under 20% for a good chunk of that first half. 40-23 our score. After the break, we'll head to New York. Join Brent Stover and the gang with AT&T at the half. You're watching college basketball on CBS Sports Network. It's March to March, presented by Principal. UTEP needs to start doing some digging, looking for some offense. They trail Western Kentucky at home 40-23 here at the historic Don Haskins Center. We welcome you courtside. Alex Sabari alongside Steve Wolf. And 0 for 12 is what the UTEP Miners started shooting the basketball from 3, and they really couldn't stop Western Kentucky either.
Well, it becomes contagious. Everybody starts doing it. The game plan was to get the ball inside. They haven't done that. Yeah. Getting dominated in the paint. But then Western Kentucky's playing really good defense, and they're scoring at the other end. They're getting the ball in the paint. They're taking it to the basket.
Let's take a look at some of the first half highlights of this one. And just everything was falling. Braxton Bayless was coming off that 27-point outing the last time out. He continued to make some noise here in this one.
Well, they were continuing to take the ball to the basket, and then they were able to get the ball right in the sweet spot, and it really took the Miners out of the game. On the other end, the Miners could not put the ball in the basket. I don't care if it was from 3 or if it was from 2 feet. They had struggled. I mean, they are shooting in the first half. They're shooting 21% from the field, which is crazy. You look at those numbers. 3-point shooting is just horrible there. You know, they have to be able to get the ball in the paint. 22-12. Western Kentucky is winning. The points down low. Let's see what happens.
And you made note of this earlier, the turnover situation. UTEP used to forcing a lot of turnovers, just 3 turnovers for Western Kentucky. UTEP only turned it over 1 time.
And UTEP can't start their press because they're not scoring. and they start the first shot is a three-point shot. And you cannot do that. They're not going to win the game shooting from the outside unless they start taking the ball to the basket and being more aggressive.
Horton was the only one to make a three. Came up empty on that shot. Baylor Hebb going for the steal there. Marshall able to retrieve it. Now a shot taken from way outside. McHenry way off the mark on that one. Offensive rebound. Another bunny missed. This time from Western Kentucky. Maybe it's just the rim on this side of the floor.
It could be.
Here's Hebb, left wide open for three in the corner. That's short. Ball tapped out. Terrell fighting for the rebound. He's got it. A fresh 20 here for the Miners.
At the end of the first half, the Miners got them on side. That's what they were doing. Strong play inside, and now they've come out the second half and just fire up the three ball.
Hebb lets it fly from three and hits from downtown. Again, just the second made three for UTEP in the game.
Well, Hebb's been shooting the ball well. He's 4 of 9 in the last 3 games from beyond the arc. That's his first make tonight.
And there's some contact there. Horton with a bit of a collision. And going down was Cada. And the officials are sending the cheerleaders off of the sideline.
You know, it's interesting. Right now, this is a very pivotal time of the game for UTEP because they got the crowd still involved as you see the cheerleaders getting walked off the court. The crowd's getting involved. They haven't seen anything fun, so they're pushing, and hopefully they'll be able to get their team back into this game because it's been slow.
Now, part of the reason they made them leave the sideline is because we had a sideline out of bounds situation where give the player room. There's not a lot of room to work with on the other end of the floor for the Don Haskins side. There's another steal here for the Miners.
It's 2 in the second half.
You can see their hands a little more active. Here's Hebb inside, little floater off the mark that time. Kalu got his hands on it. Terrell with another rebound. Horton loses his defender. He takes a three. Gets on the floor for that one. Look at that hustle, but he tosses it right into a red shirt. Here comes Western in transition. Marshall to the rim. Lays it up and in.
Well, you're seeing right now, this is a team without Otis Frazier on the court, starting the second half. They're getting on the floor for loose balls, but they're still relying on that three.
But you can tell that UTEP playing with a little bit different energy.
Yeah, a lot more energy here in the second half.
Here's Camper, lines up. Again, that shot just has not been falling for him as of late. There's a foul underneath. Free throws coming up here for UTEP.
Now, Alex, you talk about the hustle plays, and really Horton misses this shot, but doesn't just stand and watch it, he goes for the ball. And this is the first time we've really seen the Miners being physical and getting on the floor for those loose balls. You know, Alex, realize how important this game is for both teams, especially for Western Kentucky. They beat the Miners in the first game, but if they win this game, they're inching closer to that 6th seed, which will allow them not to play that quarterfinal game in the Conference USA tournament.
McHenry with the kick out here to Jackson. Very aggressive defensively are the Miners right now. Jackson working it in on Hebb. And he knocked it out of his hands. Hebb, very aggressive. Throwing it to Terrell, has to save it, and it bounces it off of Marshall out of bounds, and it'll stay with the Miners. What a play.
That was very good heads-up play. Getting out, great defense. You'll see hands. Hebb knocking it away. A little bit too far in front of Terrell.
He bobbled it in his hands.
Smart play, though. But that should have been 2. Better pass isn't a layup. And then it's really, that's a 12-point game.
Yeah.
Back in it. The momentum's starting to shift a little bit because of their defense.
Terrell. Skip over to Hebb on the baseline and has it knocked out of his hands, taken away.
Dorsey, great job coming over and helping out.
Oh. Dorsey just kind of mishandled the basketball on that drive, Steve.
Yeah, and right now, the Hilltoppers are struggling taking care of the basketball. 3 turnovers here in the last 2 minutes.
They had 3 the entire first half.
And they have to take care of the basketball with this lead.
Oh, Kalu inside with a monster jam. What a dish. And Western Kentucky says, timeout, I want to talk it over. And UTEP has cut it to 12.
UTEP playing very strong defensive basketball. And here you see Terrell coming in. Beautiful pass to Kalu for the flush.
Let's take a look at some experts at work, brought to you by Principal, and it's the UTEP Miners on that last possession.
Well, you got to give it up for Terrell. I mean, beautiful dunk by Kalu, but Terrell is just playing outstanding. And his whole team's struggling, but he is 3 for 3 from the field, 3 for 3 from the line, 6 rebounds and 4 assists. And this was his best assist because this was a play of the game right now. And now it's up to the Hilltoppers to respond. They had a big lead. They got to get back into the flow.
It's been a 17-4 run for them. Everyone's trailing 38-13 at one point.
Momentum is definitely a shift, Alex.
Kalu tosses it up, draws some more contact, and is headed to the free throw line. And I'll tell you what, the demeanor of Hank Plona right now is completely different than we saw at the end of that first half.
Well, he's apoplectic because I think when they came out the second half, they started shooting shots and not taking care of the basketball. And you can't do that because every team in this league can come back and can beat you. You have to stay focused, and they lost a focus here to start the second half.
Kalu connects from the free throw line. And again, they've turned it over 4 times already in the second half, only turned it over 3 times the entire first half.
But if you look at this from the Hilltopper standpoint, you're still up by 10. You know, if I would have said, Coach, you're 16-22 left in the game, and you're up by 10, how do you feel? I feel pretty good. You know, you can't worry about where you were. You got to worry about where you are now.
It's all perspective, isn't it?
Absolutely. This is important possession because they got to stop the bleeding a little bit.
Getting close to 4 minutes gone by, second half. Bayless working in on Camper. Camper with some aggressive defense. Getting his hands in there, trying to rip it free. And we got a jump ball. Possession arrow is going to keep it on the Western Kentucky end of the floor with 8 on the shot clock. Great defense here for the Miners.
I tell you, it's been all defense in the second half for the Miners. Bayless, a little bit out of control. We got a ball game.
You're watching March to March, presented by Principal. Let's take a look at the scoreboard from around Conference USA tonight. A massive win by FIU over Kennesaw State. FIU kind of bringing up the rear of Conference USA. That's when we talk about how deep this conference is. And New Mexico State currently with a 4-point lead over Middle Tennessee State. As we take a look at the bracket right now in Conference USA, see UTEP currently in that 6th spot.
And it does make it different, Alex, to play, whether you play 3 or 4 games. You know, it's a long tournament, you know, especially for Western Kentucky. They don't have 2 of their top 5 scorers because they're out with injuries. An easier route would get straight to the semifinals. Well, good move by Lander, getting in there, and then a stick back. Finally, you see a ball go through a basket down at that end of the court. It's been a long time.
.5 to play here. Still a lot of basketball left to be played in this game. Again, these 2 teams have met earlier this season, and really Western Kentucky's dominated this series since coming into the league. They've won it, the matchup 12 times in 14 tries.
Both of these programs are storied programs. I mean, the history that they have, national championships for UTEP back in the day. This is an important game in conference play.
Talking with Frazier, who's going to get a nice pass inside. No finish, though, from Odiahi. And then erupting here on the sidelines, Hank Plona.
Well, that was a play out of the timeout. They said, we're getting the ball inside. Both of the last 2 plays, they put away the outside game, got it inside, missed a point-blank layup. I think he was a little frustrated because that's a big shot.
Barnes. Bynum takes a 3 off the mark that time. Jalen Jackson comes up with the rebound. Lander off of the screen, misses inside. Here comes UTEP on the break. They've got a 3-on-2 if they hurry. Barnes to the rim, draws another foul.
And that's what they weren't able to do in that first half. Get the ball out and get in transition. They're quick getting the ball down court. And we said this early on. Western Kentucky can't get in foul trouble. You know, that's where you go. You try to really shorten that bench by getting to the line for the UTEP Miners.
That foul on Jackson, that's already his 3rd. And we're going to get a line change here for Western Kentucky here with Edlin, Keita, and Bayless all coming in.
Also checking in number 15, Jack Gillen.
Joe Golding's teams, they're used to coming back. They did it a couple of times, in fact, in that CUSA tournament. They were down by double digits in both the quarterfinals and the semifinals before they got to that championship game against Western.
He told us today, I don't like coming back.
Yeah. No coach
I want us
does.
to get going early, but they didn't do it today, so we'll see what happens.
Lead is down to 11. Edlin, double team him up high, pass inside, and drawing a foul was Keita.
I thought they might have called foul on him.
Some folks wanted to travel.
He might have gotten the foul before the travel,
Right.
but it was a travel if there was no foul for sure. That was a good look inside. That's where he shuffled his feet.
Yeah, I thought so too, Steve.
But I do like the fact that the Toppers are getting the ball inside. They're not making the shots, but they're pounding the paint. They're going to their bread and butter. They're not a big team, but they've been able to get those points in the paint.
Keita connects from the free throw line.
With Frazier in there right now, I'd like to see him start just dribble drive. Just don't even wide open drive. Forget about the jump shot. Get something going to the hoop.
Barnes pulls up from inside the circle. That one looked like it was going to drop. Offensive rebound. Kalu tosses it up, draws another foul, and Kalu has more free throws coming up.
Boy, that was a man-sized rebound. He came from one side of the basket to the other side. That was just a 1-2 rebound. He went after it.
Kalu with 5 points and 5 rebounds as he goes to the stripe here.
He played soccer. He didn't play basketball until he got to high school.
He was a wrestler.
A wrestler, that's right. Now watch this. This is a full Nelson rebound right here. Little push, but he comes all the way across and grabs it. He's a strong fellow.
Yeah, he sure is. I say he's really the player that's made the biggest improvement from last year to this year. We talked about how good he is as a ball screen defender. I think we've seen that quite a bit here in the second half.
He's getting a breather right now. Jones is coming back in the game, but you see the pressure put on by UTEP, and that's something we couldn't see in the first half because they couldn't score to put that pressure on. There's no dead ball.
And then we're going to shoot 18% for the entire game.
Right.
Marshall. And there's another steal and a foul called against Western. And that just all kind of just appeared in Terrell's hands.
Well, they're a lot more active. The ball will appear in your hands when you're a lot more active. You know, I think their defense is going to bring you saw it bounce off Terrell's foot. The defense is going to bring them back. It's not going to be the offense. It's going to be out of the defense, and they're doing it right now. Really turning over the Toppers here in the second half.
Nice pass inside and another foul. And again, Steve, to your point at the beginning of the game, is like the method is to get it inside. It's not just to score inside, it's to draw fouls like that.
And because you're talking about, look at this. It's a beautiful pass inside. Jones cuts to the basket. The double team was not able to recover back. There was no help defense on the weak side either. But you want to get Western Kentucky into foul trouble because they have a short bench.
And Jones connecting from the free throw line, doesn't go to the line very often, doesn't get many attempts. Jones missed the first 2 from the line in that first half and connects there. It's a 10-point game, and now we're getting it into single digits as he makes the second.
We haven't seen that in a long, long time. Under 10 points.
More pressure here from UTEP in the backcourt. Break the pressure as Don McHenry brings it across. Haven't said his name much.
He's got to get involved in the offense. You can't hide from the ball. You got to be involved when you're the leader.
McHenry takes it to the basket and draws the foul. Now you're starting to see the whistles come out a little bit more.
Well, Terrell is a good defender, but he was not able to get over and help out quick enough. I'm sure you can't see if he was in the restricted area or not. No, he's outside of it, but that is a foul. He was still moving.
Tell you what, I think if he would have kept his feet down, he might have had a shot at just drawing some contact there.
Yeah, but you got to love the way Terrell plays.
Yeah.
I mean, he's Mr. Hustle. Not the greatest offensive player, but he does a little bit of everything, and he keeps this team moving.
It's a legacy player here. His mother, Kiana, was the left UTEP as the second all-time leading scorer on the women's program. His dad played wide receiver here at UTEP.
That is a legacy.
So he's got minor blue in his blood. What a pass inside, but Jones could not finish.
That was beautiful pass, and that's the second one. Jones has not been able to stick a fork in it and grab the ball.
Getting on the floor again, but McHenry, no look, down into Cada. That one's swatted, taken away. Here comes UTEP. Terrell in transition to the rim, got it to go. Defense creates offense, Steve Wolf.
What a great pass by Frazier. Very unselfish, getting it out quick.
They're up here at the Don. Marshall, too strong. Pass down low and a foul. Marshall is going to have an easy look at it. Good physical foul. It's going to send Western Kentucky to the free throw line.
We talk about keeping your head up, and you got to give Frazier credit in this. He's got the ball. He could have taken it down, but he gets it out of his hands very quickly. One dribble for the easy layup. And that's exactly what you want to do. Defense turned into offense.
Frazier averages a little over 2.5 assists per game, so he's a willing passer.
But it's hard when you haven't scored, right, and you feel like you can take it all around. It was such an unselfish play, and it was very quick. He didn't think about it. He got it out quick, and that's the only reason why it was an uncontested layup.
Western Kentucky's pushed the lead up to 10. Now the Miners have to work in the half court. Terrell finds some room. What a drive for him. Spinning, cutting. Just could not finish. Here's McHenry. Oh, what a shot from McHenry.
He set that up so perfectly. Went to the right side. You got to realize he's coming back to that strong arm, which is a left. He took it straight up, left hand. That's what he is. He's a left-handed player.
And Terrell on the drive gets reached into from behind. 11:57 to go here. Miners trying to chip away at this Western Kentucky lead.
College basketball on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by AT&T. Connecting changes everything.
Well, Otis Frazier putting the stripes on. Works as a referee in El Paso's recreational basketball league. Started doing it a few years ago with his father in the Phoenix area. Wanted to get better acquainted with the people of El Paso, so he started refereeing some games. I asked him, do you feel a little bit more sympathy for the officials on the court for your games? He's like, those guys make a lot more money than I do when I do these, but yes, a little bit. I said, have you teed anybody up? He's like, I have a long leash, but yeah, I have before.
Yeah, I think that it's an NIL product right there, hopefully. Might be paying a little bit more than he's talking about.
He says it, it allowed him to see the game in a very different way.
That's a hard job. I remember the referee telling me when I got out of college, he said, I yelled at him about something. He said, when you play a perfect game, expect me to ref a perfect game. and that's really the truth.
It is the truth. We're going to foul here in the backcourt, called against Bynum.
That was a very quick foul. I'm wondering if they're looking at the number of fouls that they have to see if they can get in the bonus, because it's, you're almost at the 10-minute mark of the second half. This is very quick by Bynum.
Another takeaway here. Ball loose on the floor. Barton's getting on top of it. Beg your pardon, Horton getting on top of it. They're in this 10-point game.
Alex, in the first half, the Hilltoppers only turned the ball over 3 times. They've had 6 turnovers here in the first 9 minutes or 8 minutes of the second half. They're not taking care of the ball as well as they did in the first half, but also the Miners are just a little bit more aggressive than they were earlier.
Horton getting credit for a steal. That's the 6th steal by UTEP tonight. Horton for 3. No. Here comes Edelin. What a spark plug Edelin's been, and that's going to be a goaltend. Score the basket on the foul. Wow. Boy, Edelin's been quite the spark plug. He's only played in 22 of the 26 games. Just a sophomore in this Western Kentucky team, but he's provided quite a spark tonight for Western.
He really has off the bench. He's been fast. He's been playing good defense. He's made good passes. And he's also been able to put up 7 points, as you'll see.
So he tosses that one up.
That's goaltending.
I mean, the ball went in the basket.
Yeah. I thought they could have called a foul on that, but that was, it went in anyway. But he's the guy that made the play at the other end.
Yes.
And hustled down and to finish it. And they're going to give him that basket. You can see right there was a slap. I mean,
yeah,
got
Barnes. So they're bringing everybody back out, but we were in the...
They did call a foul.
Yes. So Adelin's going to the free throw line. He doesn't go there very often. In fact, this will be just his 6th free throw attempt of the season. It's off the mark. Kalu jumped too high for that rebound.
I was wondering what happened on that one. He did overjump it.
UTEP still maintaining possession here. This is Barnes. Barnes throwing it up for Kalu! Unbelievable! The alley-oop slam cuts the deficit to 10, and the energy back here at the Don.
I definitely thought Barnes threw that too high. I didn't think it was a good play, but that's one way of getting a basket in the paint. Wow.
Edelin with the pull-up from 18, got it.
He's been instant offense since he's come in, and that is a huge shot because the crowd was getting into it after Kalu's stuff. It was a nice play by Edelin.
Terrell now over to Horton. Pull up from 3, got it. Bynum from downtown. Big 3 here for the Miners.
He's one of those guys that if he gets hot, you just want to feed him the ball. But he hasn't been hot tonight until he hit that once jumper right there. So we'll see if they get him the ball and feed it to him.
On the baseline, caught up on the double team. Bortson trying to get rid of it. And we're going to whistle. And it's going to stay Western Kentucky basketball with 10 on the shot clock here.
When Barnes threw this ball, there's no way I thought he would be able to get. Look how high up that is. That big fella just elevated. That might be the player of the game. I know that you like the other one. I like that.
That one was good. That was pretty good.
That was awesome timing.
Yeah. And we're going to get an offensive foul here Terrell going down hard. He's clutching. At first it looked like he was clutching his leg, and now he's got his hands on his face. Terrell slow to get up over on the opposite sideline. And looks like Terrell is up. Looks like he's good to go.
Well, Odiahi's putting that chicken wing in there. He clipped him.
Odiahi is going to be called for the foul here.
That was that shoulder right into the neck area.
So Terrell looks to be okay. He looks just a bit shaken up. I'm not sure if he might have gotten a knee too. Terrell, solid game for him. Again, the reigning freshman of the year in Conference USA.
So the error will stay. Is that with the Hilltoppers?
So it'll be UTEP basketball trailing by 9. So we have 10 minutes to play. Throwing it up again, Kalu! Throws it down, scoring and the foul! Kalu has just been sky high tonight for the Miners.
I don't think anything's wrong with Terrell's head now. That was a beautiful pass. Keita comes over to try to double team on Terrell. And Kalu has taken over this game from the interior of the court right now, just dominating that rim.
Just a tremendous slam there for Kalu, and every single one of his dunks tonight have been emphatic. As he goes to the stripe to complete the three-point play, is short there on the free throw. Here comes Western Kentucky. They are up by 7. Keita down low,
nice
lays it up and
pass.
in.
Beautiful pass inside, going back into the paint. UTEP able to just throw it down. That's a beautiful pass and finish.
Terrell with the kick out, three-point attempt. Not letting him land. Barnes is going to have 3 free throws coming up here as Edelin runs into him, taking a 3. And that's going to be the 4th foul on Edelin.
Well, you'll see right now, you cannot touch any part of him. I don't care if it's after the shot. He did touch him with his body. And it is a 3-point.
Because you have to let the player land. You have to give him room to land.
You don't want to have an injury because of that. And I'll tell you, Barnes is not scoring very well from the outside, but he's making his free throws, and he's running the offense for the Miners here in the second half. Now they're able to cut this to 6 if he makes this shot.
Barnes, whose first ever basketball game we watched was here at the Don in the 3rd grade. Making a big free throw there to cut the deficit to 6. Here's McHenry. Tosses up a 3. No. Rebound, Terrell. Starting to get loud here. Baseline, underneath, off the window. No. Kalu bats it around and fighting for the rebound. Western Kentucky's got it into the hands of Lander. Here they come in transition.
The intensity has picked up here in the second half for both teams.
Starting to feel like a CUSA tournament game as Bayless gets tied up with. And we got a foul by one official, and we've got a tie up by the other, and they go with the foul. And I think you can understand the reaction from the fans here in El Paso.
See Bayless, he gets in that lane, and Barnes goes over. Boy, I'll tell you what.
My goodness.
That's a hard call to make. That's a hard call to make.
And I'll be honest, I thought the baseline official had the better look at it.
I did too.
Nevertheless, Bayless going to the free throw line here.
But in the first half, that wasn't happening.
No.
Bayless was able to get to the basket uncontested, and you can't allow that to happen.
On the 1+1, we're going to whistle, and we're going to foul, and it's going to be an over-the-back foul on Western Kentucky, on Cada, after the miss.
And now, because Cada's, that's a foul on Cada. That is his,
That's his second.
Now they're so small. They put Dorsey in for Cada, and they're really trying to match up, I think, with the Miners, because they are very small right now also. See the foul trouble right there for Western. Western Kentucky can ill afford to lose any players because their bench is so short because of injury.
Jones hits from the foul line. It is a 5-point game with 8:52 to play. And if you would have told me at the end of the first half, Steve, that this is where we'd be at the 8:52 mark, I would have told you were nuts.
Yeah, they really had the momentum shift at the end of the first half.
Right.
When they were up 38, when they were down 38-13, there's no way this game was over.
And it came in the last really 40 seconds of that first half.
They were 3 for 3, and they were getting to the basket, and then they finally hit a 3 to close out the half.
We've got a 4-point game here in El Paso. It's starting to feel like a CUSA tournament game. These two teams met in the title game last year. Bayless tied up, throws it up. Wow. All kinds of traffic there and still able to put it in.
That was an unbelievable drive, and that's where Bayless was having his problems earlier because they double team him from the weak side, and they're tying him up or stealing the ball. Good play by Bayless.
UTEP working in the half court here. Terrell. Backdoor cut underneath. Camper puts it in.
That's a great look. A great look, and Camper was moving without the ball behind the defense.
Back to a 4-point game. Pass. Down low on the block. We get a foul. And we got free throws coming up here for Western Kentucky when we return with 7:54 to play.
I'll tell you what, we got a game here, Alex. What a beautiful alley-oop to Kalu. 4-point game here.
He's been great. You're watching March to March, presented by Principal. Hilltoppers led by as many as 25. It's down to 4 with 7:54 to play here in the second half. CBS Sports Network's coverage of college basketball continues. Coming up next in the West Coast Conference, it's number 23, St. Mary's takes on Loyola Marymount. Rich Waltz, Dan Dickau standing by from Loyola for that one. Take a look at Paulus Morauskas and Mitchell Saxon for St. Mary's, the two top rebounders in the West Coast Conference there in St. Mary's. What a year the Gales have had this season.
The officials right now reviewing. They're looking at the clock, the game clock.
I'll be honest, there's been some questionable mechanics from the officials on how they've gone about. There was the conversation where one had a foul and one had the jump, but they didn't really discuss it. One just deferred to the other.
They reviewed all 3 goaltending.
And they reviewed all the goaltending.
Yeah. But they've done a pretty good job, especially this intensity in the second half.
I thought they've been consistent.
Yeah. That's all you want. I mean, they're not going to be perfect, like we said, but you want consistency, especially when you're playing against 2 teams that are very similar in the way they play. Very hard, very aggressive.
Barnes tosses up a shot. Offensive rebound. The putback. Frazier is there.
That's his first bucket. That's a huge bucket. Gets him off the schneid.
He's coming off that career-high 25 points against Jacksonville State, but only had 3 points the game before that against Kennesaw.
I got to tell you, the second half, I'm watching him specifically. His head's up. He's playing hard defense. Got to give the kid credit. He's come out the second half and put the first half behind him.
We had a 3-point game here in El Paso and another foul called against the Miners, and it looks like it will be against Frazier. It is. Frazier had 11 points and 7 rebounds against Western Kentucky in the CUSA title game last year. We talked a lot about Terrell and Camper. Those are the other 2 guys that get a lot of steals, but Frazier actually leads the team in steals, 2.6 per game, leads Conference USA. He's the 9th leading scorer in Conference USA, so it's hard to believe that Frazier just picked up his first 2 points in this one.
Kalu was out. They gave him a little breather. He's back in the game. He's been a mainstay here the second half for the Miners.
Absolute monster in this one. Really showed off his athleticism, especially that second alley-oop.
And the third.
And we got a 5-point game here in El Paso. Big Conference USA matchup. But these teams want to get in that position to be that 6th seed or higher. Top 6 teams are in the quarterfinals for the CUSA Championship Tournament.
Alex Kalu, watch how deep he gets in the paint. He is so deep that he's in the 2 feet into the restricted area. You got to keep him out of there. And if you're the Miners, you got to get him the ball every time.
You can almost tell that the message from Joe Golding at halftime was like, get position inside and get him the ball.
Absolutely, and I'll tell you, Barnes has taken some crazy shots, but he's been able to pass it inside to him. I think Terrell has played a really solid game. He's 4 for 5 from the field, and he's been passing the ball and rebounding, but his defense the second half is what really sticks out to me.
You know, just because everyone else gets quiet in the building on the free throws, I mean, you got to whisper. I can hear you, Steve.
I don't want these guys hearing out. They're not paying for it. Hey, they don't have the cable package.
Kalu to the free throw line. It's his second. That one off the back iron. And Western Kentucky brings it off after the miss. Here's Jackson quickly to the rim. Kalu comes up with a swat. Here come the Miners in transition to Camper.
Get it back to him.
Got to reward the guy with a big defensive play. Kalu has it stripped out of his hands, out of play. It'll stay on the UTEP end of the floor.
This is great hustle on the other end by Kalu. See him hustling back. Nice block, and it actually starts a fast break. I thought Jackson was going in for that layup.
Toss it up, and Kalu again going for an alley-oop attempt. Gets the ball, tosses it up, trying to go off the glass. Comes up empty that time.
Good play, though, out of bounds, getting it right to him over the defense.
And I thought Keita got in really good position to prevent Kalu from going for a dunk.
Yeah.
Bayless, double. Kalu got in his way. They get it to Keita, who was right underneath the basket and able to put it in.
You cannot allow a big guy to get that deep. He was the same as Kalu was last time down inside the restricted area. Keita was down the same way, underneath the basket.
Here's Thomas trying to kick it out. It's stolen away. Here comes Lander in transition, in on Terrell, and he scores.
I think Joe Golding has to get a timeout here. I mean, you know, it's 5:44. It was a 1-point game, and now you've got the Toppers up by 8 and really changing the momentum.
And a collision there, and Bynum passes it off. And I thought Lander pushed him when he was making the pass. And now Joe Golding, after the turnover, wants a timeout. So they'll chat about it. With 5:31 to play. We'll step aside here in El Paso. Western Kentucky's got the momentum back. Let's take a look at the game summary brought to you by AT&T. And UTEP's shooting percentage still low, but it was so low in that first half. It's been hard to climb back from that, but they've been so much better offensively. They've been doing a much better job of taking away the basketball. Their defense has been able to get in position because they've been making shots.
They're also getting to the free throw line. I mean, they have 10 more free throws than the Toppers, and that's going to be an important element as we get closer to the end of the game. 5:31 to play. This is an important stop for the Miners. They got to take the ball away, and they got to restrict any layups here for the Hilltop.
Western coming off a buzzer-beating win against Louisiana Tech. Bayless, the one that had the game winner after his career-high 27. After the offensive rebound, another miss on the baseline. They'll kick it out to Marshall. No reset.
Smart play by Lander.
Here's Cato. Working in on Kalud. Goes for the jump hook. Off the mark. Oh, what a play there on the tip in. Tyrone Marshall. Perfect position to get it back to double digits.
Terrell had the box out. He let it go. And Marshall was able to get the easy stick back.
And you can see Western Kentucky has got their mojo back. Here's Horton launches a three. That one off the mark. And Kalou gets the offensive rebound. Get it to Camper. Camper losing the handle there. Going to the floor. Boy, he is just all out of sorts. And we're going to jump ball here. It's going to be possession arrow back to Western Kentucky. But Corey Camper, you know, he injured his ankle against Jacksonville State, missed a couple of games, but he's still kind of out of sorts. His explosiveness is gone, but it seems like some focus is gone there too. Even talking to Frazier today at shooter, he's like, maybe you need to sit out, man, because it feels like you're in a lot of pain.
He's still hurting. I think it's also a mental thing, and you want to be aggressive. He's an aggressive player. The games he's been out, they're 3-7 in the games he hasn't played. So he's an important factor. But in this game, you got to give Western Kentucky credit. They gave up that big lead, and they've been able to withstand, you know, the onslaught by the Miners, and they're back up to a 10-point lead here.
And after he came back, he played 36 minutes in the game against Middle Tennessee, and his game returning from the injury. So coach says he's dealing with a little tendonitis now, more so than the ankle injury, but you can tell the way he's played tonight, he's just kind of out of sorts.
They need him. I mean, because, you know, he does so many things well. And he's a good shooter, too, but he's struggling, and he's not getting to the free throw line at all.
Tyrone Marshall headed to the stripe here for Western Kentucky. Now it looks like we're going to get a review here with 4:02 to play. UTEP down by as many as 25 in this game. They cut it to within 4.
Kalu's out of the game. This is a small lineup matching up with the Hilltoppers. Kalu's out, but I think that if you're UTEP, you can't try to get back in it with a 3. You got 4 minutes left. You don't have to. They got back in this game playing defense and getting the ball inside. They have to continue doing that. If you're the Hilltoppers, you can't take your foot off the gas.
Yeah.
Right now, I think they get the ball into Keita, try to get him some easy looks at the basket, dribble drive, put the 3 ball away. Try to get to the free throw line.
That's what's put you back in this game, is getting there a bunch. I mean, they're 3 of 22 from 3, Steve. Like, at this point, it's just not your night shooting a basketball.
I think at this stage of the game, until it's around the 1.5 minute mark, then you can put the 3 ball away. You know, you can get back in it with 2s and the old-fashioned 3-point plays.
So we got 2 shots coming up here for Tyrone Marshall.
Marshall's had an efficient game. He's 4 of 6 from the field.
13 points in that win against Louisiana Tech. Had 8 points, 8 rebounds in the win over UTEP over at their place in Bowling Green. Marshall.
This looks like a high school game. Everybody, they got both teams have a small lineup in. So let's see what happens here. If they can get either team can get any mojo getting to the basket.
Terrell. Now Barnes tosses it up, draws the foul. He's going to have free throws when we return. It's a 12-point lead for the Hilltoppers of Western Kentucky. UTEP chipping away. Time now for the big drive of the game, brought to you by Subaru.
Well, we talk about offense and defense. Beautiful block, and then Frazier getting it out quick, and that is a long drive. And, you know, when you're driving a Subaru, you want to be driving a long distance. But I think it's the epitome of what the Miners need, defense to offense. 24-point deficit in the second half is the biggest come-from-behind win. That was against UTSA, 80-70 in overtime, January 15th, 2020. So if the Miners can come back, that'll be a record-breaking feat for the program.
All right. Pulled to within 4 at one point in the second half after being down 25 in this game. Cut it back to 10 here after those free throw makes. Kind of getting after it here in the backcourt defensively.
It's important for the Hilltoppers to take care of the basketball. You don't need to rush, run down the clock, but get the best available shot. You don't need a 3. And for UTEP, you don't need a foul right now. You're right within striking distance. You've got to play good, solid half-court defense.
Here's Marshall working inside on Horton. Got his own rebound. Ball got loose, and Frazier comes up with it. Gets it into Terrell's hands, and here he comes in transition. Terrell. Bynum trying to work his way inside. Bynum gets to the basket, draws another foul. And you can tell Bynum thought about taking the 3 there.
But he was smart because the clock stops. You can shoot a free throw and get your 2 points, knock it down to 8. It's a smart move by Bynum. You don't need to start throwing up the 3s. You got time.
It's been a rough go of it here for UTEP here in the month of February. It's like once the calendar turned to February, it seems like their fortunes changed. It started off 4-1 in conference play. Wins against La Tech, Sam Houston. They beat Liberty on the road, beat FIU on the road. And then things started to kind of come unravel once it got to the month of February.
Well, this is great. It's really great for UTEP when they have those free throws because they can set up their press and make it a little bit harder for the Hilltoppers to score. I like the ball in the hands of Lander. I think this kid, he can get it off the dribble. He can also shoot the mid-range shot. He's gutsy.
Lander had then a career-high 28 the last time these two teams squared off. And he draws a foul here, and he's going to the free throw line. UTEP has attempted 37 free throws tonight. These will be the 26th and 27th free throws attempted by Western Kentucky.
A lot of fouls in this game. And really, that got UTEP back in it because they started seeing the ball go through the net when they shot their free throws. Gave them a little bit of confidence and momentum.
Lander got him. It's back to 10. Under 3 minutes to play here in El Paso. Terrell to Bynum. Looking for Kalu, throwing it up, looking for another alley-oop. Good position, though, got the layup.
That's a great pass by Bynum. I thought he was going to shoot it then, too. He's a little bit of a wild card with that jump shot. Beautiful pass into Kalu, gathered it and scored.
Kalu now with 13 points and 7 rebounds. Nice pass. McHenry there for the finish.
Wow, what a beautiful pass by Bayless. Feeding McHenry in the post.
Drive to the basket, another foul called. And Barnes has free throws.
Foul number 24.
I'll tell you, Bynum is really picking it up the last 2 minutes. A nice pass inside. And then the other end of the court, Bayless, who has played a whale of a game. A no-look pass underneath for McHenry.
So Barnes, who's got 10 points, all from the free throw line. Make it 11. Barnes is 0 for 9 from the field in this game, but he's 11 of 12 from the free throw line. 12 of 13.
We're talking about Bayless on the other end. Bayless is 14 points. He's got 5 rebounds, 3 assists. He's played a whale of a game. Been very efficient. 5 or 9 from the field. You might want to look at fouling right now. You got a minute 56 You're down by 8 points. Now would not be a good time.
For those of you tuning in for the St. Mary's Loyola Marymount game, you'll be able to find it streaming for free on the CBS Sports app or on the cbssports.com/CBSSN. As soon as it tips off, and of course, we'll get you out there immediately after the conclusion of this game.
And there was a shot clock violation. Air ball, but it was rebounded by Western Kentucky, put in, but it did not count. So now you got to get a quick score here, get it to the basket, and you get a timeout. You got 2 timeouts if you need it.
Barnes drives to the basket, he scores. And a timeout taken by Joe Golding. We'll step aside. UTEP down 6.
I'll tell you, the only one I'm looking at is this one right here. You know, that is the biggest key to the game. All the other ones are pretty much in line, but UTEP did not keep the Hilltoppers out of the paint, and that's why they were down by 25 in that first half. They've been able to do a better job in the second half. And Western Kentucky has been efficient in the half court. They've taken care of the basketball. And when UTEP came back, they were able to sustain that momentum. Now they got to finish it out.
Lander gets it ahead. Oh, what a play in transition and a finish by Tyrone Marshall right out of the break, breaking the press right to a layup.
That came from the timeout, and that came from the huddle.
Bynum for 3, got it! Bynum needed that shot to go in. And it's a 5-point game. We'll step aside. UTEP still alive. Folks, the St. Mary's Loyola Marymount game is already underway and now available streaming free on the CBS Sports app or at cbssports.com/CBSSN. We'll get you out there as soon as this one is over. Rich Walt and Dan Dickow. The call of that one for you here on CBS Sports Network. Well, we got a tight one here in a big Conference USA matchup. Seeding coming into play here. You want to be in that top 6. Right now, UTEP is. Western Kentucky isn't.
And right now, Western Kentucky needs to get the ball in quick. Don't hold it. UTEP, get in the trap, and if they get out of the trap, foul.
Oh! A foul on the opposite end of the floor. The referee came in. Joe Golding had his hands on his head, thinking they came up with a turnover, but a foul was called. What'd you see, Steve?
Well, first of all, you never want to pick the ball up there, and that was a really good job by Jackson, just putting his lower body and boxing out Terrell. I mean, they could have called a foul on Jackson, but that was a smart play. And he was trying to basically box out to be able to get the ball. But you never want to catch the ball on the baseline like that. You want to be able to have room so they can't double you.
So Jalen Jackson to the free throw line here for Western Kentucky, connects. Makes it a 6-point game with 1:03 to play.
That really doesn't hurt you. That free throw doesn't hurt you. This is the one that'll make it a 3-possession game. So if he misses this, it was a pretty good foul. Because it didn't take much time off the clock.
One more for Jackson. Got them both. It's a 7-point lead for the Hilltoppers.
Got to get down quick, and you got to get a good shot. Doesn't have to be a 3 yet. But get the best available shot.
Terrell got caught underneath the basket, lost his footing, and he wanted to travel. We get a jump ball, the tie-up.
Because they don't have timeout. The Miners do not have a timeout, so they better hope it's a jump ball. Well, you see he slipped and went down, and then he tried to call a timeout, but they didn't give it to him. They called a jump ball. That was very fortunate because the Miners are out of timeouts, but the possession area goes to UTEP.
So it'll be UTEP ball, 21 on the shot clock, 53 and 8/10 seconds to play. Miners down by 7. Quickly get it in. Barnes launches a 3, misses. Trying for the tip on the other side. Frazier misses, but he will go to the line.
See, that's one of those things. When Frazier got that rebound, let him go. You don't want to stop the clock. You just want to keep it going, get the ball out and go. Frazier had great position underneath the basket. Nobody was around him. And now, you lose one of your best players.
Yeah, Marshall coming off the floor. He's picking up his 5th foul. First one from Frazier is up and in. It's been a rough night for Frazier. That's just his 3rd point. He's just 1 of 8 from the field. Does have 7 rebounds and an assist, a big assist. But a very quiet game for Frazier.
He's played a heck of a second half defensively. The offense wasn't there, but there's 2 sides of the game. And right now, it's the same thing. If they get the ball in quick, try to trap them, and then foul if they get out of the trap.
And they foul Edlin, so he's going to the line.
Not a bad foul. Edlin struggled at the free throw line.
Well, he doesn't get there much. It's hard to give a full assessment of his free throw shooting ability. Before tonight, he'd only been there 5 times the whole year.
He's 0 for 1 from the free throw line tonight. Yeah, and he's not used to playing probably late in this game. It's obviously he's a college player, so he's been in tough situations, and he just drains it.
It's like, I don't care what you say, Steve Wolf.
Well, I just think you got to look for the guy maybe that might get rattled, but it ain't him. Heck, as soon as that ball was in his hands, he shot it. He didn't even think about it.
So Edlin coming off. The lead is back to 7 here for Western Kentucky.
Get the ball in the hands of Bynum. He's a little bit of a wild card, but he can shoot the long jump shot, too.
They were trying to draw another foul there. They didn't give it to it that time, and I thought Barnes was actually fouled on that play. Terrell comes up with it, and a foul with 35 and 9/10 seconds to go.
I think they're going to get Bayless on it. I think Bayless grabbed his arm. See, those are the kind of plays you just got to understand scoring clock. Hey, 35 seconds left. Let them go. You don't need to foul them.
And even a basket at that particular stage, if they score, doesn't matter for you. They still have to foul you.
Right. It's still a 2-possession game after they score.
Edlin back in for Cada. 35.9 to play. And Terrell can't get it to go. The ball sat on the rim. They had actually pretty good position to try for a tip in, but the ball bounced off the rim a couple of times. And UTEP's got a foul. Frazier finally does and fouls Lander. Poor thing for that is Lander's an 82% free throw shooter.
How important is it to get Lander back for this game? I mean, you talking to the coaching staff, when guys go out, other guys come off the bench and they get more playing time. They get a little bit more comfortable. And you can see that the Hilltoppers are rounded into shape now that Lander's back. They're still missing 2 of their top 5 scorers.
Lander misses.
Edlin comes out. The big guy comes back in. Kate.
So it's a 6-point game. Lander with 1 more, and he knocks that one down. So it's back to 7. Miners running out of chances here. Shot clock is off. Terrell, they pretty much got to take threes here. Terrell launches for 3, misses short that time. Ball tapped out, ends up back in Terrell's hands with 15 on the game clock. Terrell pulls up, misses short again, trying to get, and they're going to call off the Dogs. And the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers are going to own the tiebreaker over the UTEP Miners, sweeping the season series as they knock off the Miners here at the Haskins Center, 80-73. They got off to such a big start. UTEP tried to fight their way back from 25 down. You take a look at the updated standings now. Western Kentucky, UTEP, La Tech, all there at 7 and 8. Still some games left to be played, but right now it's still a lot of seeding and positioning left to be decided. For Steve Wolf and our entire CBS crew, I'm Alex Sabario. Good night from El Paso, Texas. This has been a presentation of CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. After the break, we're going to head you out to St. Mary's and Loyola Marymount. So long from El Paso.